Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys swinging by and spending some time with me on the video today. I always appreciate that. Guys, today we're going to be talking about a segment of the Bass Pro Tour anglers that are absolutely freaking out of their minds about the cheater box rule change for 2025. Going to get into that today's video and got some commentary I'm going to share with you guys on it. And also we're going to talk a little bit about the Bassmaster Elite Series, sort of the same deal there. So hope you guys will enjoy today's video. Also, guys, today, Christmas is right around the corner. If you guys are looking for some cool Christmas gifts, just please swing by, check out my Tackle Warehouse link. They got everything you could possibly want as far as Christmas gifts, good deals. Like this one here, I would highly suggest this, guys. This is that new Garcia Zata tact reel. You've heard me talking about it. 20% off for the rest of the month of November at Tackle Warehouse at my link in the description. The proceeds of this reel go to our first responders and our military. That tactical looking color on it, 10 ball bearings. Guys will love this reel. So if you guys are looking to get some gifts right now, like I said, Tackle Warehouse has got that Black Friday sale going on through the end of November. Got my link in the description here if you guys would like to use that. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, the reason I want to do this video is I was talking to my buddy of mine a couple days ago, fishes the Bass Pro Tour, and he was telling me about there is a bunch of dudes out there, the spotlighters, that are completely connected to their umbilical cord, that are absolutely freaking out on this Bass Pro Tour rule change for 2025, that basically you're not going to be allowed to use the cheater box all day long. There's going to be periods where you can use it and periods where you can't use it. And apparently, and this is also the same on the Bass Pro Tour, there are a segment of the Bass Pro Tour anglers out there that they don't know anything about bass fishing other than to turn that cheater box on. And they don't have any other equipment. My buddy was telling me about this one dude that fishes the Bass Pro Tour. He is so addicted to it that he's never experienced bass fishing without it. It's like ever since he started bass fishing, he was connected to the cheater box. So he doesn't own anything else. He owns like one spinner bait and one chatter bait, and everything else is forward facing sonar minnows. So for him to have to confront the reality that he may have to actually reel bass fish for next year, they are freaking out of their minds because they don't know how to do it. It's like these guys that are doing well on the Bass Pro Tour, not all of them, but there's a segment of the guys that are doing well and winning on the Bass Pro Tour and on the Bassmaster Elite Series, that they're like kindergartners when it comes to bass fishing, and they don't have any skills whatsoever except for turning that spotlight on. And if they can't turn their spotlight on, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They got no business even fishing professionally if that's the way it's going to be. So anyway, I found it a couple different things. First of all, I really feel sorry for those guys and the state of our sport, that we have created this generation of anglers out there that don't have any skills other than using technology. That is an insult to the fish. It's an insult to the sport. It's an insult to the organizations. It's an insult to every bass pro out there that has put in their due diligence for decades to learn about the fine art of bass fishing. And we've seen what it's done to the sport and how it's destroyed it over the past 3 or 4 years. So for this amount of anxiety to be created by a rule change that basically says, okay, guys, you guys are going to actually have to reel bass fish. You're not going to be able to use this video game all day long. And for the amount of anxiety and fear that's putting in some of these anglers' minds out there, I think that it says a lot about the dysfunction of our sport that we have right now. And over to the Bass Elite Series side, one of the things that I want to suggest, guys, is you guys need to go by and check out Dave Mercer's podcast with Clark Winlet that he did last week. Because Clark decided, if you don't know who Clark Winlet is, you don't know anything about bass fishing, tournaments that is. But anyway, Clark's not fishing anymore. He's retiring basically because of forward-facing sonar. And he makes the case that, which I've talked about forever, is that all these guys like Clark that have put in decades honing their skills to become, well-rounded, diverse bass fishermen, all that's worthless now. It doesn't mean anything whatsoever because you got forward-facing sonar, and it's created this generation of anglers out there that don't need any other skills besides that. And Clark made the good point here. It's like he's talking about in the past, like over the past 30 years, one of the reasons that you didn't see many young anglers excel in the sport was because it took decades to learn everything. it took decades to understand bass movement behavior and the dozens and dozens and dozens of different techniques and lure categories you had to master and learn and apply them to different type of seasonal patterns. And that's something that takes forever. That's why you didn't see young anglers like excel to the extent they do now, because now the majority of the people that excel in tournaments on the Bassmaster Elite Series and on the Bass Pro Tour over the past 2 or 3 years, you've never heard of them. They're like 20, 25 years old. They don't have any other skills or talent besides using that forward-facing sonar box, and it's completely morphed the sport into something unrecognizable. We have taken every element of bass fishing out of competitive fishing and relegated it to technology. And this is one of the reasons why Bassmaster and the Bass Pro Tour are struggling so much with sponsors right now. Simply because everybody out there, number one, they don't want to watch it. They don't want to watch forward-facing sonar on TV. But number two, it's continually pushing the legends of the sport out, or the people that traditionally have been associated with bass fishing out of the sport. All your guys like, Clark Wendlandt and all the people that are going by the wayside. And people don't want to see that. I mean, it's like, if you all of a sudden, like, say, for example, you followed Major League Baseball your whole life, and you've got, people that you followed, and all of a sudden there was a new type of bat technology came out, which made all of your people that you followed forever, they just couldn't compete anymore. And you had this influx of tons of people that you've never heard of before. The interest diminishes in the sport. And that's what we've seen in bass fishing. And that's why bass fishing organizations are struggling so much to get sponsorships now, because they've created this themselves. This is a self-inflicted wound that Bassmaster and MLF have put upon themselves. Now, one of the things we always talk about, and like I said, I'll keep talking about it, it's like, imagine a world where 5 years ago, when this forward-facing sonar was starting to dominate everything, imagine if we had people in positions of management within Bassmaster and MLF that basically recognize that and say, guys, this is a road we do not want to go down. We're going to stop it before it even starts. Going to be no forward-facing sonar allowed in our tournaments. You tell me why that would be worse than it is right now. It's like there's nothing negative about that. It's like if you took forward-facing sonar out of the sport of fishing 5 years ago, you would have fishing the way it has been forever. And there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't broken. There was nothing to be fixed. And by doing that, by allowing forward-facing sonar to completely take over the sport, it has diminished the interest in the sport. It's diminished the value of the sport. It's diminished the value of the tournament organizations and the sponsors' mind. It's been nothing but negative. It's pushed legends of the sport out of the sport. Why do you think Kevin Van Dam got out of the sport? I mean, I'm speculating, but Kevin probably saw the writing on the wall. He dominated forever, and he can't dominate against a 20-year-old flat brimmer that doesn't know anything except how to turn that cheater box on. That's the dysfunctional reality that they have inflicted upon themselves. And, I was knee-deep into Bassmaster back in the 70s before most of these goobers that are running that organization over there now were even born. And it's in bad hands. Bassmaster is in terrible hands right now. MLF, not so much, because they do have fishermen that are running the organization. I don't agree with a lot of the decisions they make, but they're better than Bassmaster in terms of understanding the reality of the situation. So anyway, guys, one of the things I just wanted, if you guys haven't had a chance, just swing by and check out that podcast with Dave Mercer and Clark Wendlandt. It gives you guys a really good insight to what I'm talking about here. And hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.